Hello there. I'm Larry Jackson, the writer, director, and producer of Shades Connected Interactive, the play Overcoming American Ethnic and Racial Implicit Bias. This is a short video. There are a number of other videos that I have posted that you may have access to. This one, we're talking about the root cause of these violent schoolyard shootings. And in my experience, going back some 54 years, when I taught at a school back in the 70s, religious education, I was responsible for finding appropriate stimuli to provoke discussion questions amongst a high school group of kids. And I discovered the Insight series, which I believe was published on TV. And we used that series of film as discussion question starters. And one film that we used was called Mr. Johnson's Had the Course. And that took place over in the 60s when we were engaged in the Vietnam War. And this student, Mr. Johnson, was a college student and he was failing a particular course. So he went to the professor and tried to elicit help from the professor so he would not fail the course, because the consequences of him failing the course would mean that his grade point would drop to the extent that he would be eligible to be drafted into the Army and would then be shipped to Vietnam to fight in the Vietnam War. So what his solution was, because the professor was not being helpful at all, the professor seemed to be quite mean-spirited and just basically told him that he was on his own. His solution was to take the professor and the class hostage. So he appeared in the class with a rifle or a gun and held everyone hostage. The drama was that the SWAT team arrived and there was a debate between a progressive member of the SWAT team and a kind of a mean-spirited conservative member of the SWAT team as to whether to target Mr. Johnson and kill him. And so the conservative, mean-spirited person won the debate, and they did take the SWAT team in, and they targeted him and killed him. After they killed him and they entered the classroom, they found that the gun that he had wasn't loaded. So of course the debate was, should Mr. Johnson have been killed? And the interesting thing about that was there was a student, one of my students, who mentioned during the discussion that there were some teachers that he would have liked to taken hostage based on their behavior and so forth. That was kind of a funny thing in those days because there was never any of this schoolyard violence as we see today, which I think comes from the bullying aspect and the bullying behavior of other students and some teachers. So we fast forward then to a few years ago, let's say we're fast forwarding 45 years later, at another parish that I'm teaching at, and there was an incident where someone had knocked the head off the statue of the Blessed Mother. And of course, a lot of people were upset about this and so forth. I was even upset about it. And the solution was to build another statue or replace the statue of the Blessed Mother with this other statue, which of the Blessed Mother, which was supposed to be so strong that the remarks of the pastor were that if anybody tried to knock this head off, they'd probably break their arm. Now, that was, in my estimation, not the appropriate way to handle the matter. Obviously, someone or some group of people were upset with some kind of treatment. My guess is it was probably bullying. It may have been from other students. It may have been from other teachers. By the way, the statue that they replaced the Blessed Mother with was a army green color of the Blessed Mother. Now, I've always am used to seeing that figure in a very soft shade of blue, which kind of connotes the well-being of the Blessed Mother. So, in any event, I thought, now, why isn't someone or a group of someones investigating to find out what the reason was, what the cause was for this beheading of the Blessed Mother? Obviously, there was something that went on. And then subsequent to that, there was some more vandalism where some kids had broken into the school and threw paper all around, just vandalized the school. I don't think they did any physical damage, but they did a lot of disruptive damage. And that, again, was not dealt with. Now, the last incident at another parish that I taught at, and this is very recent, I attended daily Mass. And at these daily Masses, they would have usually one class come over out of 8 classes. And this time it was the 8th grade class that came over to attend the daily Mass. And as I was saying my prayers, an adult came in who I believe was the teacher of this class. And he started yelling and screaming at these kids for something they had done or something that he thought they had done. And I thought, wow, that is a very inappropriate way to behave with 8th graders. Since I taught 8th graders for the majority of my 20 years and had full classes, 25 to 30 students on a volunteer basis, attending my Sunday school, if you want to say, or other religious education classes. And these are basically on a volunteer basis. What 14-year-old wants to go to Sunday school, let alone Mass on Sunday? I think they'd rather sleep in and maybe go to a later Mass, not the 9:30 Mass or the 9:30 religious education or Sunday school. Anyway, my answer to this is to treat your students with the same respect that you would want them to treat you with. And isn't that the golden rule? And more practice of the golden rule and less practice of bullying and treatment by which, of course, you, as the you in the universal sense, as the bully would not want to be treated, would lead to, I believe, less of this schoolyard violence. So the key cause, from my perspective, is bullying. Now, what do we do about it? Fill in the registration form for the free movie dealing with eliminating hate and bullying. Then get the cooperation from your school official. Send in your application as soon as possible or no later than April 30th, 2018. During May, we will tabulate the number of schools that want to receive this free video with audience collected opinions, leading to workable solutions to end bullying and hate speak. When we have our sponsors on board, we will alert all the schools that want to receive the play and schedule the play, the air date, and the distribution of the videos. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.